Well, welcome to our How to Sell South America seminar. As we are going to leave some time at the end for you to ask questions about some countries that you might be very interested about or you are selling right now, because it is a very large area. So first, a little bit about us. We are a family-owned agency. It was opened by my mother in 1965. We only sell products that we have experienced, places that we have been, hotels that we have tried. We only use local operators, which, there are no intermediaries, so the cost is kept down. And also we believe that that is good for sustainable tourism because the money that clients spend stays in the places that our clients visit. We found that a three-way conference call with your client is really a wonderful way to get them excited about the destination and where we can help you sell, because we can tell them where to go, how to do it, and we get the feeling also of what they want. So it becomes a much easier sell than if we don't have that interchange. We do a customized arrangement for 1 to groups, and we can do just the land arrangements, or we can also include the air. We have wholesalers. If you cannot, if you don't have that ability, we can help you with that. So let's get now into South America. I'm going to start with the northern part, and probably you have had clients asking, they want to go to Galapagos and Machu Picchu. I would say that's one of the most popular combinations, at least that we have had from clients, and it is a great combination to do, and it's wonderful. If they haven't been to Machu Picchu, it's a combination with Galapagos. It's very interesting. But what we are trying to do with this seminar is give you tools so that you can be more creative and suggest original, not so well-known destinations, which will make your clients really excited and say, oh, this lady really knows, and gives us another opportunity to think about other places that we could visit. One of the areas that has started in the last 5 years is Colombia. Colombia is a very large country, and it has so many different things to see, and it's right next to Ecuador. So it's a great combination to do. It has the beaches on the Pacific Ocean, which are less, they are not crowded at all. They don't have that much infrastructure, but for clients who want areas that haven't been visited so much, it's great, all this part here. Close to Cartagena is where you have the more popular beaches, you have more hotels. So you can suggest that also. Or Medellin and Bogota, 2 lovely cities with lots of museums, lots of culture, good food. And there are flights from Quito to Bogota and Medellin, direct flights. So that's a great thing for clients. The other combination that is, there are many places in Peru that besides Machu Picchu that you can suggest to your clients, like the Colca Canyon, like Arequipa down here, and besides going to Machu Picchu, it's very easy to get. It's a 1-hour flight less, really 40 minutes flight. Also the Nazca lines. It's a must for people who go to Peru. It's something that not everybody has seen, and it's very, very interesting. So that's another combination that's possible. And the other one that is overlooked many times is Peru with Bolivia. I always suggest to clients, instead of going and returning from Lima, to go. When they go to Cusco, go to Puno, cross over to Lake Titicaca, go to La Paz, and leave from La Paz. It is, Bolivia is a little bit like Peru 30 years ago. the cholitas, the ladies, the local ladies wear those wonderful big skirts with all kind of colors. It's more colorful really than Peru in that sense, because it's more typical to see the cholitas around. Also, Lake Titicaca is lovely, and it's really nicer from the Bolivian side. They own more. They own more of the lake itself. La Paz has very good hotels. It has wonderful restaurants, and it has many different attractions. So it's great to have them leave from La Paz. So they are already used to the altitude, so it's not a big problem. And depending on how much time they have, they can visit different areas of Bolivia. If you have adventurous clients, Bolivia with northern Chile or northern Argentina is a great combination. They can go to La Paz. Sucre is a lovely, they call it the white city, colonial city, not overcrowded at all. And then you have the Salar of Uyuni, which is the salt flats, which have become very popular lately because there is a new airport there. And that can be easily combined with the Atacama Desert, the northern part of Chile, or the northern part of Argentina with Salta. You can either fly or you can even do it by land for those adventurers. And then the Salta, for example, in Argentina has not only great hiking and colorful valleys, but it has the wine country. So for people who are interested in wine, Salta would be a great destination to visit. Let's go now to the middle here. And one other combination that I'm sure you have client asked for is Brazil, the Iguazu Falls from both sides, from the Argentine side and the Brazilian side. And many times then they want to fly into Rio and return from Rio, which is great. It's a good combination. But there are other areas I just want to point. This northern part of Argentina, where you see the pink, that's an area that has developed perhaps in the last 10 years. They call it the Serengeti of the South America, because you have the esteros of Iberá there. If anybody has been to the Pantanal, for example, in Brazil, it's similar because it's lots of water and not so much vegetation, so you really get to see the wildlife. It's just beautiful for birds. They all reflect in the water. It's just a great area to visit, and it's easier to get to than the Pantanal. It also has all the tea plantations. The mate plantations have become little inns, so it's lovely to stay here. Nice little places, the tea plantations to stay. They can see Iguazu Falls. There are also the missions, the Jesuit missions, the ruins to visit here. So lots to do. So that's another thing that you can tell your clients. Instead of just going to Iguazu for one day, if they have a little bit of more time, to spend 2 or 3 days in this area. Uruguay is another place that I suggest to clients when they have a little bit of time and they go and visit Buenos Aires or they go to Argentina. Uruguay, as you see, is very small, but it's very laid back. It's not as frantic as Buenos Aires. And it has wine, it has horseback riding, and it has the beaches, beautiful beaches. This is the area you go in our winter. People who go to the Patagonia, the time to go is between October and March. December and January are the very high seasons, so nice to be able to avoid them, although you know, it's just higher prices and you have to book earlier. But a visit to Montevideo, which is a small colonial city, or Colonia itself, which is here. And then Punta del Este is an international beach resort with 5-star deluxe resorts and also smaller inns. The wine regions of Chile and Argentina that has become very, very popular and a lovely visit because it's very easy. You can arrive either in Santiago or in Buenos Aires. You fly into Mendoza and you can go over to Santiago or vice versa, either by land, which is a wonderful crossing because you see the Aconcagua Mountains and the Andes. Just it's a whole day, but it's really a wonderful crossing. Or you can fly. It's only 1 hour. The wine regions from Santiago, they're just an hour and a half south, and you find the Colchagua Valley with different places to stay, old wineries, very modern wineries also, some totally deluxe and some more reasonable. And the same thing in Mendoza. You have two different areas, the Uco Valley and the San Juan Valley, with many different wineries. Some of them they are cathedrals more than wineries, with museums and just wonderful food and wine. So let's go down to the Patagonia, which is, because it is so popular, I thought I'll talk a little bit more about this area. You can, the Patagonia is both in Chile and Argentina. It's the area from Bariloche, this area down. This is called the Patagonia, and you have the Chilean Patagonia and the Argentine Patagonia. For people who want to visit, I would suggest best to either go into Santiago and out of Buenos Aires or the other way around. It doesn't really matter, but let's start from Buenos Aires. People will want to fly into Calafate. It's about a 3-hour flight. Calafate is a very busy town because it's the gateway to all this area of the Patagonia. And because Perito Moreno, the famous glacier, is there. And then usually they cross over to see Torres del Paine if they are coming this way, and they fly out from Santiago. So that's one of the combinations that can be done. A little bit about the Patagonia. As you see, there is the beginning of the Andes. Patagonia is flat. And then you have the Andes coming up right next to you. A great way to visit the Patagonia is with these little boats, because you go through the glaciers and you visit all the glacier area in Argentina. And you go from estancia to estancia. And I really can't emphasize enough that you should suggest your clients to stay in an estancia. It's a way to really get to experience the Argentine gaucho and the food and, the area. This is the inside of the little boats. As you see, they're very comfortable. And this is what you see when you go through the glaciers, either from estancia to estancia, or you can take the cruises for a whole day. There are some that are half day. And you go through all these different glaciers that are floating around, different colors. Patagonia has 4 seasons in one day, and it's true. 5 minutes after, it can be very dark, and 5 minutes later, you have the sun coming out and reflecting in all these icebergs, and it's really, really fantastic. I have never heard anybody coming back and not say, wow. This is just some pictures to give you an idea of what you see when you go through this, when you do the cruises on the glaciers. Just a map to give you an idea. Here is Calafate, where we flew from Buenos Aires. It's about 3 hours flight. That's the big town where most people stay. But again, the estancias, for example, which one is here, one is over here, they are more difficult to get to. So yes, it takes more time and it's more expensive because you have the transfers, but the experience is unique. So basically, these are all the places that you can cruise, but either, as I mentioned, the whole day or half day. And this is the wildlife that you will see in the area. This is Perito Moreno. Perito Moreno is one of the only moving glaciers in the world, advancing glaciers in the world. It's huge and it's very, very famous. It's a UNESCO heritage. Here you can walk. There is one side where you can come all the way up and walk all the way down and see it from different areas on this side. And on the other side, you can also take this little boat. It goes in front of the other side. And people love it because they can see all these big chunks of ice coming down and take pictures of them or videos while the glacier is caving. This is, you can walk on the glacier. There are crampons, and you can do a hike in the glacier itself, which is wonderful to do because you really feel that you are all by yourself by the time you get back into all these crevices. You feel that you are a little bit in the Antarctica. And this is another picture of Perito Moreno. As you can see, it goes on and on and on in the distance. Just the color keeps changing. People keep taking thousands of pictures. It's lovely. This is Chaltén. Chaltén is called the hiking capital of the world. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Calafate, where people land with the airplane. It has, as you see, it's kind of a laid-back town. It does have a 5-star hotel and many other little places here because it really is booming during the summer season. And here is where the Andes start and people go hiking. And people come here to see Fitzroy. Fitzroy is the famous climbing mountain, just like Torres del Paine is famous in Torres del Paine Park. Fitzroy is really magnificent to see. Here, for example, we were walking all through here, and you have always Fitzroy. You can see always, it doesn't matter where you're hiking, you see Fitzroy from different angles, surrounded by clouds or the sun coming out. So it's just a beautiful and, as you see, easy to hike. I mean, obviously you can go further up and do very difficult trekking, but for people who don't want to do that, it's easy to just walk through this path. You see the condors, you see the Andes right always in front of you. That's why I say in Patagonia, which is great for families, if you have the grandmother, she can sit in the bar in the hotel and look at the beautiful Andes, changing colors, and the kids or the younger ones can go trekking and hiking. Again, just to show you how the Andes, you can see them from the road. You can see them all the time when you are driving from one place to another. This is Chaltén. This area is the very easy hiking, the yellow line. Here is Mount Fitzroy. So constantly, it doesn't matter if you come from Chaltén or from the other side, you can start hiking here or here if you don't want to hike the whole day, which it takes you about 6 hours to hike from this point to Chaltén. But you can also do just half or just do this trail here, which is very, very easy. It's not difficult at all. The part that's a little bit more engaging is this area to go to the Lago de los Tres. This is a little bit more difficult, but it's doable. If you do it slowly, I have done it, it's not terribly difficult, but it's climbing. This part is climbing. Here, I wanted to show you a couple of estancias. estancias are like in the United States ranches. They are now converting them into inns. Some of them are 5-star deluxe, some are simpler. Most of them are working ranches, so you will see the gauchos. Some are not, but most of them are. You can see they're very cozy, so you can, in the evening, you can sit here with a glass of wine and read about the history of the estancias. This is a more modern one. The beautiful rooms. They usually don't have more than 6 or 7 rooms. This one had 5 huge rooms looking over to the Andes and to Fitzroy. Gourmet food. They are all run by their owners or managers who have been there for a long, long time. So it's a very, very personal attention that they give to you. This is a larger estancia, working estancia. Guests can stay here or they can come for a day and visit. Here is where the gauchos are, this area, and they're working all day, so you can visit and be with them, or if you're not hiking somewhere. The great thing is, you know, you see them go out in the morning with all the cattle, come back in the evening with all the cattle. Really exciting to see. Kids just love it, to see the whole action of how they work all these estancias. And you have the wonderful lamb. Patagonia is famous for the lamb. These are sheep ranches, mostly. While in the Pampas, if you go to the, which is in the north, close to Buenos Aires, there you have the famous Argentine beef. But when you go to Patagonia, you eat a lot of lamb, and it's delicious. And here we cross over to Chile. These are the Torres del Paine. The reason they are so magnificent is because the top is made of very dark granite, so it stands out from the bottom, and as the sun moves, you really see the you know, different colors, and it just shines in the sun. It reflects the sun, so it's really wonderful. Again, you can see how you can take this easy path and enjoy the mountains. You don't have to be a big hiker to go to Patagonia, although if you are, you also can do that. They are very, very, very difficult hikes also. Here is another side of Torres del Paine, and this is in October, so you see this, there's spring, so you have all the flowers coming out, which is also really very, very pretty. Now Torres del Paine is gone in the clouds, but it will be out in 5 minutes probably, and the sun will shine on it. You can see here is the road. Here are different hikes. You can go up here and see, and you can also cross over to the other side with this bridge. So lots of different possibilities as far as hiking. Another shot just of Torres del Paine, that when the sun is coming through. And in the Chilean Patagonia, you don't have that many estancias. In fact, the only one that was there, they have closed it. They might reopen it. But you do have these domes, which people love to stay. It's more adventurous. But you also have very, very deluxe hotels like the Explorer. But for families, for example, they do love these domes. It's like little igloos in the Patagonia. This is what you can do in Torres del Paine. It's here the boat ride. The glaciers in Chile are not as large or as impressive as they are on the Argentine side. But still, it's lovely to stay here. Lago Grey has a little inn, and you can do all these cruises, and then you can hike either here, which is you can do these hikes, which are very easy, or go further on. Torres del Paine is famous for the W Trail. Lots of young people want to do the Trail, which you can either do the whole thing or part, and you stay in refugios, in places you camp, or there are little cabañas, or where places that you stay for the night. You can do it in 3 or 4 nights, or even 2, depending on which area you want to do, of how much time you have. And now, just to give you an idea of the whole area here. People come from Buenos Aires, they go into El Calafate, that's one option. Another one that's very usual is flying to Ushuaia, because here Ushuaia is where the boats leave for the Antarctica. So that's mostly why people go to Ushuaia, a lovely little town to stay for a while. But usually people, when they go to the Patagonia, they stay more in this area. They come into Calafate, they visit Fitzroy, where the Chaltén, the town that I showed you before, is. They go to Perito Moreno and the glaciers. This is the Argentine side where all the glaciers are. They cross over to Torres del Paine. From Calafate to Torres del Paine is about 3 hours, and it's a very, very scenic drive. And then you can stay in Torres del Paine at least 3 nights, I would say. If you have more time, that would be great. Then you usually come down to Punta Arenas to fly out into Santiago. That would be, what most people do. There are also boats going from Argentina to Chile, going through all the Magellan Strait and around here. Lovely, lovely to do. And then there are, in Chile, there are so many new places to stay just over the border from Argentina. They are constantly changing and opening new places to hike and new inns. So it's an area that's developing constantly. And now, just as the last slide, I wanted just to show you what a night looks in Patagonia. Here is Fitzroy, and these are the stars. You can bundle up and just lay down in a hammock and watch the sky while you are drinking a wonderful glass of wine, and it's just it's spectacular. So thank you. I think we are close to the end here, so I want to leave some time for questions.
Great. Well, thank you, Rhea, for that informative presentation. Just as a reminder, as always, this training session is being recorded and will be available within the next several days at jaxfax.com under the Agent Training menu tab. And yes, let's see what we have for questions. We have a couple here. First question is, are your packages air inclusive? If not, can you assist in booking air?
We can assist in booking air, yes. We have wholesalers who are specialized in South America or wherever. We do Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East. So we have wholesalers who can help with air, absolutely, if you need it.
Great. The next question is, do you have a minimum or maximum group size for your tours?
No. We do a couple of tours a day. We really, our main business is customizing for your clients. They could be a couple or it could be 30. We customize each trip. We do have a couple of trips a year that we do, but usually 2 or 3. So basically what we do is customize for you, for your clients.
Okay, great. That kind of leads into the third question here, which was, do you offer preset itineraries or do you custom design the packages for each client? And it sounds like custom design.
We custom design. We obviously have modules and, already set itineraries for people who go for the first time to Patagonia, which would be a little bit what I showed you. So we do have, some set itineraries, but we totally customize. If your client is not a big hiker, if it's a family that the grandmother, as I mentioned, wants to stay in the hotel or in the estancia, so we customize, yes. we tweak every itinerary to be perfect for your clients.
Great. Wonderful. I think that is, let's see, might have one more here. All right, give me 1 second. One other question is, which countries require U.S. citizens to have a visa? Brazil, they're saying Brazil I know is easier and cheaper now, but others.
Yes, Brazil is the only one. Argentina doesn't have any more. Chile doesn't have any more, visa requirements. Colombia doesn't. So it's only Brazil, and yes, it used to be $100 and something. It's now, I believe, $49. So in general, no, you don't need visas in South America, but for Brazil.
Okay, great. Another question here is, other than Explorer, what other deluxe lodger do you recommend near Torres de Paine?
Lago Grey is, well, it's not totally deluxe like Explorer. The 5-star deluxe is Explorer. But there are other ones that have magnificent views, like Lago Grey or Serrano but no, compared to Explorer, I would say no, there aren't. There isn't another Explorer, no, in the park, inside the park. There are some very deluxe lodges outside the park in the, from Chile, closer to Punta Arenas.
Okay, wonderful. Looks like that wraps up the questions. Someone's asking if we can please provide contact info. I'm actually going to grab the screen back from you here real quick, and I do have that contact info on the introduction. So I'll pop that up for a second here just so people can get a chance to take a look at that.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, here we are just right down at the bottom here. So if anyone does want to take that information down, we have contact information for myself and obviously for Rhea. And I believe that will, yes, go ahead.
Our email is our name, really, is info@cosmopolitanadventuretours.com.
Perfect.
Or you can go in our website, which is www.cosmopolitanadventuretours.com, and there you have our phone number, emails, and everything else.
Fantastic. Well, that looks like it concludes the questions, so I think that'll conclude our webinar and training session for today. Thank you again, Rhea, for joining us today. It was a great presentation, and thank you all for tuning in and for being here for another training session.
Yes, thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay, you too, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.